Hey there, kiddos. Time for our next lessons. You'll see plural here. I am going to give you a place in this video where you can pause and pick up the rest of it for the next night to watch the video, but I'm going to go through 4-3 and 4-4, which is multiplying multi-digit numbers. So I want you to write down the following I can statement. I can multiply multi-digit numbers. Okay? So here we go. First thing we're going to look at is a place value sections method. If you think back to 4th grade, you did learn this in 4th grade, but I'm going to review this method for you. We're going to do that now. So I've got 56 times 34. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break these apart into the tens place and ones place and place them around this grid. This is just like area. If you think about area, everything's in rectangles or square units. That's really what we do for area here. So each one of these is going to represent a portion of the area that we'll add together at the end. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to split 50 and 6. So I put 50 plus 6. Across the top, I'm going to put 30 plus 4. I'm going to start in this box right here and think about this just like a multiplication table. I'm going to take the number from the left and the number from the top, and I'm going to multiply them. And when I do that, I get 50 times 30, and that gives me 1,500. This is just like the earlier lesson we did when we're multiplying numbers that are in the tens place by each other. Okay? Then we have 50 times 4. So again, I took the 50 from over here and the 4 from up top for a total of 200. Now I'm going to come down to this box. I'm going to do 6 times 30, which is 180. And I'm going to do this box here, which is going to be the two ones place, 6 times 4, which is 24. The next step is I have to add all of these up. Now, it's really important to keep your place values aligned here. So make sure your ones place is lined up, tens, and so on. That's one thing that can really trip you up if you're not very careful about that. So you really want to pay attention to that. So we just add that up. I get 4 in the first column. I get 10 in the second column. So I'm going to put down the 0 and carry the 1. When I add that up, I get 9. Throw in my comma, and then I bring down the 1, and the answer is 1,904. So let's look at another one. This time, I'm going to have you pause the video and try this problem, and then you can hit play again, and we'll go through the answer together. So go ahead, pause the video, and try this problem now. Okay, so let's go through the solution for this. I'm going to split up 20 and 9 into 20 plus 9, separate the tens place from the ones place. I'm going to split up 62 into 60 plus 2. And now I'm just going to multiply. So in my first box, I'm going to take the 20 and the 60. When I multiply those together, I get 1,200. 2 times 20 is 40. When I do 9 times 60, that's 540. Remember, left and top. And now I'm going to do the ones place. 9 times 2 is 18. So when I stack all that up, add it up, I get 8, 9, 7. Throw in the comma, put in the 1, 1,798. Now, this will be the spot where you can stop if you'd like to. We are going to move into the stuff that will be covered in lesson 4.4, which you'll be doing in class. But if you would like to pause now and be done for the night, you can, and pick this up tomorrow. For those of you who are sticking with me, let's go. All right. So now we're going to look at the place value rows method. Okay. This differs a little bit because we're going to chunk the numbers a little bit bigger together. So what you're going to see here is this time I'm going to split up the 50 and the 6 over here, but across the top, I'm just going to leave 34. Okay, so I'm going to do 50 times 34, and I'm going to put down a 0 first, and here's why. I'm multiplying. If I did 0 times 4 and 0 times 3, I'm just going to get 0. So there really is no value in the ones place. So I'm starting right with the tens place. Well, in order to make this a multiple of 10, I've got to put that 0 in there and keep that in the place. Now I can multiply. 5 times 4 is 20. Put down the 0, carry the 2. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 is 17. So that's 1,700 or 1,700. Down here at the bottom, I'm going to do 6 times 34. 6 times 4 is 24. Carry the 2. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 2 is 20, 204. And then I'm just going to come over to the side here, and I've got 1,700 plus 204. When I add that together, I get 409. But in the comma, 1,904, just like we did in the previous slides with the other ones. Okay. The difference here is you don't have to split it up quite as far. Okay. All right, here's your chance to practice. I'm going to have you do the same thing last time. I'm going to have you pause the video and try this problem. When you're ready, press play, and we'll move on. Okay? All right, so let's go through this one together. I'm going to break up 20 into 20 plus 5, and I'm going to put 17 at the top. I'm going to multiply 20 times 17. Since I'm multiplying by 0 here, I know I can just start with the tens place. So I'm going to put in a 0 to hold my place value to make sure that doesn't go anywhere. 2 times 7 is 14. 4 carry the 1. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3. That's 340. Down here at the bottom, I've got 5 times 17. So 5 times 7 is 35. Carry the 3. And I add those together, I get 85. I add those up on the side, and I come up with 425. How'd you do? Hopefully you did great. All right. Now we're going to go on to the shortcut method, and I thought maybe that Wacko might be the best person here to kind of talk you through this, so...
Today's lesson is multiplication. Yakko?
Yes, Miss Flamille?
I want you to multiply 47 times 83.
Sounds like a song cue to me.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, yes, it does. Hit it, hurry! 7 times 3 is 21, which, as you know, is just 2 tens plus 1, and so we put the 1 right here, and we carry the 2 1 left to the top of the tens place right next door, and we put it on top of the number 4, which is really 4 tens that we multiply, times 3 in the ones place, and that's why we now have 12, which we add to the 2 that we carry to get 14. See how easy that was? Oh, it's multiplication, it's math education. Hey, Albert Einstein said that it's so easy to do. It's simple, it's breezy, it's fun and it's easy. Just buy a calculator, you can multiply too. And now the second digit. 7 times 8 is 56, which, as you know, is just 5 tens plus 6, and so we put the 6 right here in the tens place left of the 1, carry the 5 like we did before to the top of the tens place next to the 4, then multiply that 4 times 8 to get 32. See, isn't this great? Then we add the 5 that we carried before to get 37, then add once more straight down to get 3,901. Isn't this swell?
Piece of cake, right? That's all right. He went through it really fast, and if you're confused, no worries, because I'm going to go through it nice and slow. All right, so I'm going to go through everything step by step so you can see what's happening. All right, so the shortcut method involves just stacking the numbers and multiplying. I know a lot of you already know how to do this, but for those of you who don't use this method, this might be a way for you to start easing yourself into it. It's not required. You can certainly use either of the other two methods we've gone through first. Okay, so I've got 56 times 34. So to start with, I'm going to take the ones place and I'm going to multiply it times the ones and tens place of this number. Okay, so I'm going to start with 6 times 4 is 24. I'm going to carry the 2. Now let's jump over to a new slide. We'll carry that over. So that's the first step. That's step number 1. Step 2 is now that I have carried that 2, I'm going to do 6 times 3 is 18 plus 2 equals 20. Okay, so now step 3 is I'm now into the row where I'm going to multiply by the tens place. In order to make that stay at 10, this is really important, I have to put a 0 there, because if I don't, it's going to be like being in the ones place again, and that's going to mess this whole thing up. So it's super important. Okay, so now I'm going to multiply 5 times 4, which is 20. I carry that 2 up there. 5 times 3 in the next step here is 18. Or 5 times 3 is 15. Nice math by me. Sorry. 5 times 3 is 15 plus 2 is 17. So now I'm going to add those up. And when I do that, I'm going to get 409 and put in the comma 1,904. That should look very much like the very first problem that we practiced together. Okay, so that takes you through it step by step. You do the ones times the ones and the ones times the tens. Then you put down the 0, 5 times the ones, which is what we did here, and then 5 times the tens, which is what we did here, and we just add those up at the bottom for 1,904. Okay, so here is a comparison between the two. So if you look at the shortcut method versus the other method we did, which was the place value rows method, okay, we can take a look right here and we can see how they're similar. Look right here. The big difference here is you can see these two are flipped. So I've got 1,700, 204. I've got 204, 1,700. But we still got the same answer either way. And you'll notice the number 2 up here is carried twice. It's carried once here and carried once here as well. So it's just a different way of looking at those numbers. Certainly one of the most efficient ways in terms of using your time is to do it the shortcut method. But if it's confusing, use one of the other methods. They all work great. And as long as you get the right answer, who cares? All right. So here's your third practice problem. I want you to pause the video and try this using the shortcut method. If you need to back up and look at what I just did, you may. Do your best. If you want to check it with one of the other methods, you can, but I'm going to go through the problem now. So pause and then come back and see how you did. So step 1, I'm going to do 1 times 8, which is 8. I'm going to move into step 2. Now I'm going to do 1 times 3, which is 3. Pretty easy so far. So we did the ones place. Now we're going to do the tens place. So we're going to put that 0 in there. Now that I've got the 0 in there, 7 times 8 is 56. Carry the 5. Okay. Next step, 7 times 3 is 21 plus 5 is 26. Step 6 says I just add those together. And when I do that, I get 8, 9, 6, and 2, 2,698. All right. Your practice problems, last two I'd like you to do is I want you to choose any of the three methods that I've gone over with you in this video and solve these two problems. Your guiding question is, what method did you choose and why did you choose it? And then again, I would like you to create a problem of your own for your classmates to solve. Take care.